Thank you very much, Mr. President. My name is Ben Murray Bruce, representing Biles. I'm sure this is a very serious issue, and I'm sure my colleagues here in school may have had classmates who were on drugs. When I was in high school, a few of my classmates in school were on drugs. When I went to the shrine, I saw a lot of other kids on drugs. But there's a reason why people get on drugs. People get on drugs for two reasons. The rich kids get on designer drugs because it makes them high, it makes them happy. Poor kids get on drugs because there's this level of hopelessness in their lives, and they feel hopeless, and when the drugs make them high, it gives them some kind of relief. Now, when you're on drugs, it makes you immune to pain, and it also allows you to commit crime. A lot of times, people who commit crime have just been on drugs or are on drugs, and they lose their senses, and they commit a crime. When we talk about rehabilitation, first of all, in the debate I've listened to today, it is important we understand why people get on drugs first. Then we figure out a way to solve the problem. If you have 60 million Nigerians unemployed, 11 million kids out of school, 6 million people who've just lost their jobs in the last 2 years, it is not surprising that lots of people are on drugs. This is a serious problem. To fix the problem, we need to fix the economy. 1. 2, our educational policy must deal with 11 million kids who need to be in school. 3, the National Orientation Agency should begin a campaign to explain the consequence of being on drugs. A lot of people do not know the consequence. If you don't know the consequence, then it is reasonable for an ignorant person to get high so they can feel good, commit a crime, and not understand the consequence of carrying a gun pointed at somebody and then get shot by the police, and the mother is crying at home because the child is dead. This is a serious issue, and it must be addressed in a manner that deals with, first of all, the cause of the problem. The cause of the problem is unemployment, misery, and people not having a life, not having a job, having nowhere to go. 2, children of the rich. When I was in school, a couple of kids in my school were on drugs. They were rich. They had no money problems. They had no school fees problem, but they got high because it made them feel good, because it was the nice thing to do. Mrs. Tinubu raised the issue about men not looking after their women. Well, a lot of women today control the resources in the home, and so we could say the same thing about the women not looking after their men. There's equality between a man and a woman. So I disagree with her position. She is capable of looking after her husband quite well, so she should be able to look after Governor Tinubu, and if I see Governor Tinubu not happy, then she's the one to be blamed. Now, we must pay attention to the cause of this problem. They say it's in northern Nigeria, it's in all of Africa, it's in all of Nigeria. It's a very, 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 very serious problem. And I urge my colleagues who are not paying attention to go home. Listen, go home. Look at your children. Pay attention to your children. You may be shocked that somebody in your household is on drugs, always happy, always smiling, and you have no idea why that child is smiling, because that child is on drugs. It's a serious issue. The drugs are purchased. They're readily available. There are no prescriptions necessary to buy these drugs. If you go to the shrine, you'll see it all over the place. I'm in the shrine all the time, so I see people taking a lot of Indian hemp. But because I see people take Indian hemp doesn't mean I take it. Okay? So the fact that some of us have restraint doesn't mean I go there for Afrobeat. Because some of us have restraint doesn't mean all of us have restraint. I urge my colleagues to go home. There is no way right now 109 colleagues of mine will go home and not find somebody in their household who is on drugs. Mr. President, it's a very serious issue. I urge this Senate to take this seriously, but it goes beyond rehabilitation. We need to deal with the cause of the problem, the consequence of the problem. Armed robbery, rape, all the crimes in society, I guarantee you it's 90% related to